People that we constantly have to thank for what's going on. I start with Governor Lamont because he gets the legislature behind making sure that we're going to have matching funds for the programs that are coming at us. All right. I've got Senators Blumenthal and Murphy, who I've met with him in Washington this week, along with Congressman Larson. And the person that couldn't be here today is the Federal Highway Administrator for Connecticut, Amy Jackson Grove, who could not make it for this event. But this is very, very important for us. It's important on a number of reasons. One, it shows what our delegation is able to bring back into this state in terms of funding that we desperately need for projects just like this one. Thanks to delivering on the bipartisan infrastructure law, we are able to do a quick turnaround and develop new bridge programs and guidance because we now have the funding to back it going forward. So it's historic because we're not just talking about infrastructure that we talk about what we're going to do in the future. It's stuff we're going to be doing now. So for Connecticut, we've done a good job of improving bridge conditions. And now with these new federal dollars behind it, we can continue to move the needle. The governor has turned around to go and say, Joe, what are we going to go and do? And we are moving up every project that was going to be separated out for the next couple of years because of funding issues. We're able to move them up and get them moving forward. So this program is about fixing the bridges in most need of repair, preventing others from falling into disrepair. So simply put, it's about preserving Connecticut's bridge assets in a profound way. There are over 3,000 bridges in our state and poor and fair condition that could benefit from this new program. And this Bissell Bridge is a good example. Built in the Eisenhower era, it needs preservation work to its bridge deck and its piers, and it needs steel repairs and painting, an estimated $37 million of work. And new federal investment will ensure that we complete the design and get completion done within 2 years after that design. So I want to, again, make it very, very clear to our delegation how much we value this and how we are going to put this to good use. And, Governor, I hear your message all the time. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Governor. Under the leadership of Governor Lamont and Commissioner Gioletti, Connecticut is moving forward. I like to say it's team number one, and we're so proud of this congressional delegation led by our 2 United States senators and the 5 members of Congress. We're all working together to make sure that the state of Connecticut gets the kind of funding it needs to invest in infrastructure and improve this entire region. I live here in this community. I travel across the Bissell Bridge. I travel across the Buckley Bridge. The Buckley Bridge is the 3rd most congested bridge in the country with respect to truck traffic. This is the #1 chokehold in the state of Connecticut and in New England. And when you throw in our concern about the levees that both of our senators have been working with us that are experiencing something called sandpiping, which caused the collapse in the 9th Ward in New Orleans, we rise to the level of urgency. And the fierce urgency of now, as Martin Luther King would say, is being met by Governor Lamont and Commissioner Gioletti. We will continue to work together in Washington to make sure that we secure the funding that will relieve the congestion and, frankly, put the state back to work. I'm honored to be here with our 2 United States senators, and let me yield the floor to Senator Murphy.
No, that's all right. Thank you very much, John. Commissioner, thanks for leading us off. Governor, thanks for your leadership, making sure that these federal dollars are being quickly deployed to improve infrastructure in Connecticut. Listen, you can't have a structurally deficient bridge. These are projects that can't wait. These are often projects that suck up significant state and federal resources. Today, the governor is announcing a $560 million federal commitment to fixing bridges in Connecticut. As the commissioner mentioned, this means that we're going to get a whole lot of bridges done earlier than we had planned. We're going to put a whole bunch of people to work fixing those bridges. And we're going to create flexibility for the state to use its own money to be spread out over other projects. So this is a win-win-win for the state. Nationally, this project is, this funding is going to be used to repair 15,000 bridges all over the nation, unclog major arteries of transit and transportation, and put a whole bunch of people to work. And so we're really excited to be part of this announcement here today. And we're really excited that the governor and the commissioner have been, planning and working over the last 6 months to make sure that this money gets out quickly. I'll also note that, we've done some innovative things in terms of how the money is going to be used and allocated. It used to be that for bridges that were locally owned, the state had to come up with a significant share. But under this bridge program, if you've got a bridge that's owned by a town, it can be reimbursed by the federal government under this program 100%. So this is a cost savings to towns as well. The state's going to save some money, but if we end up using this money for locally owned bridges, the state and the local municipality doesn't have to come up with the kind of money that they used to. So, there's a lot of attention this week on the division in Congress, Republicans and Democrats on different sides of the issue of voting rights. But just a reminder that this is the biggest investment in American infrastructure in the history of the country, and it was done with 70 votes in the Senate, Republicans and Democrats. And I want to end by thanking Joe Biden. Joe Biden brought the two parties together to pass this historic investment in infrastructure that's going to put people to work and get these bridges repaired a lot faster than we had previously hoped. And we're going to try to find a way to come together on voting rights and immigration and other issues, but this is a pretty important achievement, and I'm really grateful to be here with the governor. Thank him for his leadership to make sure that we're going to get as many of these bridges done, made safe, as quickly as possible. Let me turn it over to Senator Blumenthal.
Thank you. Thanks to Joe Giletti, good friend, great leader in American transportation. Thanks to the governor for his commitment. It has been unstinting and unswerving. This bridge may look fine, but it is structurally deficient. It is the 10th most traveled structurally deficient bridge in the state of Connecticut. Now you may think, oh, why should I care? Well, these structurally deficient roads and bridges have made commuting time 10% longer. They cost you about $711 on average because of potholes and structural problems to repair your car. And if you're looking at inflation, structurally deficient bridges and roads create gridlock, supply chain deadlocks, and investment in this infrastructure is about creating jobs, unlocking the supply chain, enabling people to get to work more quickly and easily and less expensively. It makes a difference in your life. And what we're talking about here is truly a historic, monumental, massive investment. $500 million, $500 million in Connecticut alone, in bridges like this one and the Gold Star, the I-91, I-95 interchange in Hartford, all around the state of Connecticut, 3 in Fairfield that need repair. These bridges are decades old. They date from Eisenhower or earlier. One across the Saugatuck River in Fairfield dates from 1938. These bridges are crashes waiting to happen, as we saw in Mianus River Bridge, within our lifetime. The cost was not just lives, it was massive gridlock up and down Connecticut's roads. And the Mianus River Bridge is a picture worth 1,000 words. If you wonder why you should care about the Bissell Bridge. Now, let me just say, you know, the opportunity we have here is literally once in a lifetime, not just once in a generation, once in a lifetime. It is the biggest bridge building program in the history of the United States of America, the most monumental investment, along with road building and repair, that America has ever undertaken. And it will not just create jobs, it will create new careers for people. Not just more jobs, more pay, but new careers, because it will train the welders, the carpenters, the pipe fitters, the trades that will come to work on this bridge repairing it. And it will make a lifetime's worth of difference for them. So thanks to the governor and Commissioner Giletti. This effort was bipartisan, and we need more of it when it comes to investing now in the people who are going to use this bridge. The folks who are going to use this bridge will need daycare to get to work. They will need universal pre-K to educate their children so they can fill the jobs that are being created. And we ought to care about climate change. The next challenge is investing in the people who will use this physical infrastructure. And the commitment ought to be as massive and as historic as this one is. And now I'm pleased to introduce the governor.
Thank you, Dick. Hey, first of all, I can tell you, we're not going to be outside forever. I know what you're thinking. For the first time since the end of last year, fast rail, speed it up. For the first time since the end of last year, our infection rate is now below 20%. Our hospitalizations are down for the third day in a row. 3 days is not a trend make, but it's my hope that we're bending the curve, and we might be, our next press thing might be warmer. Let me tell you what I've heard. I mean, I hear about this Bissell Bridge. I'm looking behind me here, and I was noticing in the history that Mr. Bissell was granted a ferry franchise back in 1641, and that's what they did for the next 200 years, and you paid a little bit to cross the river. You know, and later on it was canals, and the Erie Canal, paid for by tolls, ironically, in the about 200 years ago. Then we built our major railway system. Then, as you heard Senator Blumenthal say, in the 50s, we ramped things up under Ike, and he built the national highway system. We have sort of a herky-jerky commitment to infrastructure in our country. And now it's been 75, 80 years since this bridge was built under President Eisenhower, and it's time for our generation to step up and make the next generational investments in infrastructure. And I think Chris Murphy said something, you know, all I read about is dysfunction. They can't get anything done. They're stepping on top of each other down in Washington, D.C. This is an enormous, transformative investment that'll change our state and change our country the same way those previous investments did. What it means for jobs, what it means for opportunity, what it means for economic development, what it means for transforming, you know, the state. A state that whose location is key to our strategic future, as long as you can get from here to there. And I want to give a shout out to President Biden. You know, he stood up, he got it done. You know, everybody's been the infrastructure president since I've been around. I've been around a long time. This guy got it done. He got it done with help from our incredible congressional delegation, unanimously supportive of this. John Larson on Ways and Means, what that means in terms of you know, putting our shoulder to the wheel to make a difference. And I got to tell you that as governor, working with Joe Giletti, our job is to make sure these investments make a difference. Make sure that you have confidence that government can take the opportunity our delegation, our president have given us, and show you that these roads and bridges are going to speed up, they're going to be safer, and they're part of an economic future that really turns this state around. Thanks, everybody.
Questions?
Happy to stand out here in the cold as long as you want.
When will we start seeing the actual repairs going on? Do you have any idea of when that will
Say
start?
that again. I didn't.
When will we start actually seeing the repairs actually start up?
The question is, when will we actually start seeing the repairs? What we've been able to do is move and advance the planning on this. So in 25 is when you'll actually see the construction going on. You know, we'll have been finished with the planning end of it. We are hoping to have it constructed within 2 years, and it's been moved up several years because of the investment that's been made here.
Governor, one quick COVID question for you. Based on your conversation with hospital officials, what is the best estimate as to how many people who are hospitalized with COVID are there where the COVID is incidental to another reason for being there?
Now, that's a really good question. We estimate that it's anywhere from 30 to 40%. And what Paz is asking is, I see the hospitalization numbers, I see the number of people with COVID that are there. Remember, a lot of those people are there for something else, and when you go into the hospital, you happen to test positive for a very mild case of COVID. We think it's 30 to 40%. Yeah, exactly. But he didn't test positive.
Governor, just another off topic if I can you just comment on Aguinobi leaving UConn?
Yeah, Andy Aguinobi, who, as you know, was an amazing leader for UConn Health and has stepped in on an interim basis leading University of Connecticut, has gotten an amazing job opportunity. And it's testament, I think, to the quality of people we have running some of our major institutions here in the state, like Andy. He's going to be over running an important subsidiary for Humana. We're going to be making an announcement for another interim to step in for Andy Aguinobi and continue his extraordinary leadership at UConn.
Okay.
Going, gone.